Welcome back to the deep dive. We often talk about spiritual awakening, right? That big goal of finding deep peace, clarity, maybe even bliss.
Sounds amazing, doesn't it? Total transformation.
Exactly. It sounds perfect. But the sources our listeners send over, they paint a really different picture. Surprisingly, well, chaotic one sometimes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Before you hit that deep peace, maybe right in the middle of it, a lot of people actually feel intensely destabilized.
Destabilized?
And we're talking feeling totally overwhelmed, physically buzzing sometimes, disoriented, like reality itself is kind of shaky under your feet.
Right. So when your usual sense of you starts dissolving and your awareness expands, your whole system can kind of freak out, interpret it as a crisis.
Precisely. And that's where grounding comes in. All these sources hone in on it as the essential counterbalance to that energetic chaos.
Okay. So our mission today is to really dive deep into this grounding practice.
Yep.
We're going to unpack why it's so essential, not just optional. What are the signs, the physical, the emotional flags that say, hey, you need to ground right now.
And crucially, how to do it. We'll get into the practical, actionable techniques the material suggests.
Definitely.
So first things first, just so we're all on the same page. When we talk about grounding in this context, what exactly are we defining it as?
Okay. So grounding here is the conscious practice of anchoring yourself actively. Meaning you're bringing your awareness back into your physical body, back to this moment right now, and importantly, back into connection with the physical earth.
Ah, okay, like an anchor.
Yeah, think of it like installing an energetic stabilizer. Because when that intense, often upward-moving energy surges, which happens a lot in rapid awakening grounding, gives you that necessary pull downwards.
So you don't just float off.
Exactly. So you don't feel swept away or just permanently spacey, dissociated. It keeps you here. Okay, let's unpack this. Because this idea, this transformative storm, it really pushes against the usual, maybe softer story we hear about awakening. Why does seeking peace sometimes kick up so much internal chaos first?
Well, the sources are pretty clear on this. That initial phase, it can be really destabilizing. And it's because the very boundaries that, defined you, your ego, your limits, they start to dissolve.
Personal, solid ground.
Right. And when that disappears, you're left in this state of energetic flux. It's fluid. Instead of feeling settled, you might feel like you're literally floating or vibrating.
Or, like you said, buzzing. About to launch out of your skin.
Yeah, that about to launch feeling is common.
And these aren't just vague feelings, are they? The sources get specific about physical sensations, signals that the body's processing more energy than it can really handle comfortably.
That's right. And what's fascinating here is how the body responds. It's not just in your head. It's a full system physical thing.
Like what? What are the top signs?
One of the most common ones is that intense buzzing or tingling or humming.
Not just the little pins and needles.
No, people describe it more like a constant electrical current. Often it's really noticeable in the hands, the feet, and very, very commonly the crown of the head.
Wow. Okay, if your head's buzzing like that, just getting through the day must be tough.
It makes concentration really difficult, yeah. And then alongside that buzzing, you often get these unpredictable energy rushes.
Rushes, like heat.
Sometimes heat, yeah. Or like waves of intense electrical feeling. They can move without warning, often shooting up the spine or maybe radiating out from the gut area, the solar plexus.
That sounds overwhelming.
It is. If that energy isn't integrated, isn't distributed properly, it gets overwhelming fast. It can easily tip into anxiety or even panic because the nervous system is just running way too hard.
Okay, so the body's buzzing, running hot. How does that translate mentally or emotionally? What's the internal chaos look like?
Mentally, it often shows up as profound spaciness, dissociation. You might feel detached, like you're watching your life happen from a distance.
Behind glass, almost.
Yeah, exactly like that. And you can become super sensitive to everything around you, lights, sounds, people's energy, because your usual internal filter feels thin or gone. Your awareness is wider, sure, but it's not really integrated into your day-to-day reality.
Okay. And emotionally, you mentioned that gets tough.
Yeah. Emotionally, this is a big one. Awakening can act like a massive trigger for emotional flooding.
Flooding, meaning old stuff coming up.
Precisely. Emotions, traumas, feelings you've maybe suppressed for years, decades even. They can suddenly rush into your awareness, all at once.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So if you're already feeling spacey and buzzy and then all this unprocessed emotional energy floods in, the result is often deep chaos.
That makes sense.
And grounding in that scenario becomes the tool you absolutely need to build a safe container, a space to actually process those releases without just drowning in them.
Okay, that really clarifies the why. We tend to think of awakening as moving up, expanding out, but without grounding, all that energy just rushes out the top, right?
Yeah.
Leaves you totally unstable. So it's crucial to get this. Grounding isn't about stopping the expansion. It's not resisting it.
No, not at all. It's about integration.
Integration, okay, like a bridge.
That bridge analogy is perfect. It's the bridge between that huge expanded awareness and the practical reality of, paying bills, walking the dog, living your life here on Earth.
Makes sense. And psychologically, how does it work? The sources mention the nervous system.
Right. From a psychological view, grounding practices are super effective because they consciously activate the parasympathetic nervous system.
And that's the rest and digest mode, right?
Right.
As opposed to fight or flight.
Exactly. When you're buzzing or having those energy surges, you're often stuck in sympathetic overdrive, fight or flight. Grounding techniques actively shift you back into parasympathetic.
And why is hitting that rest button so key when you're buzzing?
Because it tells your whole body it's safe. It calms the racing thoughts, lowers the heart rate, slows everything down. It lets the body know, okay, we can handle this new energy, we can process it safely. It's an immediate physiological downshift.
Okay. And then there's the spiritual or energetic side. The sources use that phrase, connecting heaven and earth. What's that about?
Yes. So if all that big, expansive energy only rushes upwards towards heaven, you could say you get the dizziness, the anxiety, the dissociation we talked about. Total imbalance.
Too much up.
Way too much up. Grounding ensures that this powerful energy, call it kundalini, life force, prana, whatever term resonates, actually circulates. It gets distributed evenly through the whole body. You're consciously creating a pathway down towards earth.
So it's not just stopping the upward rush, it's giving it somewhere to go.
Exactly. You're balancing the circuit. It transforms the awakening from this potentially overwhelming storm into a strong, steady, reliable flow that you can actually manage and embody.
Okay. And the difference between being grounded and ungrounded must be pretty stark then. That seems like the clearest sign of whether you need to intervene.
Totally. The ungrounded state, according to the sources, it's that buzzing, restless energy, feeling perpetually overstimulated, finding it hard to focus on simple, everyday tasks.
Just can't function normally.
Right. Whereas the grounded state, that's calm, steady energy. It flows. You feel present in your body, in your hands, your feet, your center.
Embodied.
Deeply embodied. Yeah. Your nervous system is balanced. And that allows you to take those big cosmic insights you might be having and actually integrate them into your daily life.
So you can still go grocery shopping.
Exactly.
Sure.
Or maintain stable relationships or do your job well. It turns the extraordinary experience into a solid foundation for living, not something that pulls you out of life.
Okay. Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's get practical. Once you spot those signs, the buzzing head, the spaciness, the emotional overwhelm, what do you actually do? What's in the grounding toolkit, according to these sources?
Right, the toolkit. Let's start with probably the most direct one, connecting your body with nature.
Like literally touching the earth.
Literally. The simplest technique mentioned again and again is earthing. Just getting your bare feet onto natural ground, grass, soil, sand.
And why does that work? Is it just psychological?
There's definitely a psychological component, but the sources emphasize an electrical aspect too. It helps discharge excess electrical energy.
How so?
Well, the idea is the Earth itself has this vast reservoir of negative charge. When you're buzzing, you often have an excess of positive charge built up in your system. Physical contact with the ground acts like a conduit. It literally pulls that erratic energy out, helping you stabilize, like plugging into a giant battery balancer.
Huh. That's fascinating. But what if you live in a city? High-rise apartment, concrete everywhere. What are the urban options?
Good question. The advice is bring nature in or seek out dense, natural, or earth-connected things out.
Like houseplants.
Dense houseplants, yeah. Or go find a tree in a park and actually touch the bark for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Sit with your back pressed firmly against a large rock if you can find one, or even a solid concrete wall or structure.
So the key is physical contact with something dense, fixed, connected to the earth.
Exactly. Something that feels solid and stable.
Okay. So connecting with the environment is one thing. What about using your own body through movement?
Absolutely. Movement is key. But the sources suggest tailoring the type of movement to the type of energy you're feeling.
How does that work?
Well, if the energy feels really stuck or overwhelming, almost like trapped anxiety, hyper agitated, then you need vigorous movement.
Like going for a hard run.
Yeah, a run, intense cycling, maybe some burst training, shaking something to really physically move that energy through and out of your system, burn it off.
Okay. And what if the energy isn't stuck, but more scattered?
Yeah.
Spacey, restless, like you can't focus.
For that, the recommendation is slow, mindful, intentional movement.
Like yoga or Tai Chi.
Exactly. Slow yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong. These practices are designed less to discharge energy quickly and more to redistribute it evenly, to bring it back into balance throughout the body's energy pathways or meridians. The focus is on feeling every tiny movement, being completely present in the physical action.
I like that distinction, tailoring the movement. Okay, what about those moments when you feel really spacey, like totally disconnected?
Yeah.
You mentioned using sensory input, like cold water.
Yes. Temperature shifts are fantastic for grounding. They're immediate pattern interrupts.
How so?
When you're feeling really dissociated out there, you need strong, immediate sensory data to pull your awareness right back into your physical body now.
So splashing cold water on your face?
Yep. Or even just holding an ice cube in your hand for a minute. The intense cold sensation forces your attention onto that specific present physical feeling. It cuts right through the mental buzz or the floaty feeling.
Instant anchor.
Pretty much.
And you mentioned something about a high-powered shower. How does that fit in?
Yeah, that's more of a directional technique.
Right.
If the buzzing or pressure feels really concentrated in your head, that constant mental chatter, feeling like your head might float off standing under a strong shower stream can help.
Oh.
You use visualization with it. As the water pours down over your head and body, you consciously imagine or even try to feel that excess energy being pushed downward, out of your head, down through your body, and out through your feet, going down the drain.
So you're actively directing the energy flow.
Exactly, using the physical sensation of the water to help guide the energy down and out.
Okay. Beyond temperature, what about other senses? How can we use sight, sound, touch?
It's all about redirecting focus. Shifting your attention away from analyzing the internal sensations or the expanded awareness and onto the simple, immediate physical world around you, like noticing textures. Really feel the rough weave of your jeans or the cool smoothness of a tabletop. Pick up a physical object, maybe a heavy stone, a smooth crystal, even your keys, and just focus on its weight, its temperature, its texture in your hand.
So tangible things.
Yes, tangible physical reality. Or use sound. Listen specifically for sounds that feel earthy or grounding. Deep drum beats, heavy bass music, recordings of thunderstorms or ocean waves. These lower frequency resonant sounds can help pull your energy downwards out of the airy mental space and back into a sense of density.
Makes sense. Okay, let's talk about internal anchors. Stuff we can do anywhere. Breath is always huge, right?
Always the #1 internal tool. When you feel those buzzy, spacey sensations creeping up, the first thing is to check your breathing. Chances are it's shallow, up in the chest.
Which keeps you anxious.
Exactly. So you consciously switch to slow, deep breathing right down into your belly, diaphragmatic breathing. But the sources add another layer here, combining the breath with visualization.
Okay, tell us more about that. How does the visualization work?
It's pretty powerful. With each slow exhale, you actively imagine thick, heavy roots growing down from the base of your spine, down through your legs, out the soles of your feet. Imagine them drilling deep, deep down into the earth, anchoring you firmly.
So it's not just calming the breath, it's actively directing energy downwards.
Precisely. It's an energetic practice using the breath and intention together. You're giving that excess upward energy a clear pathway down to find stability in the earth.
I like that. Very practical. And then food. The sources mention food as an anchor. Why specific types of food?
Yeah, this is really practical. It comes down to energetic contrast. That awakened energy often feels light, airy, fast, maybe what some traditions call Vata energy.
Okay.
So to balance that out, you need the opposite. Density, weight, earthiness. That's why grounding foods are recommended.
Like what kind of foods?
Think warm, cooked meals rather than raw salads. Root vegetables are classic potatoes, carrots, beets, sweet potatoes, parsnips, things that grow in the earth. Also dense nuts, whole grains like oats or brown rice. Anything that feels substantial, nourishing, and takes some solid digestion. It acts as a physical anchor in your system.
Comfort food, but with an energetic purpose.
Kinda, yeah. And avoid things that are too light, sugary or stimulating like caffeine, which can just amplify the buzziness.
Gotcha. Any specific teas or herbs mentioned?
Yes, keeping with the theme, root-based teas. Ginger root is great, dandelion root, burdock root. They carry that same heavy, earthy energy. Plus, they often help settle the digestive system, which has a knock-on calming effect on the nervous system.
Good tips. And finally, something really basic but maybe easily missed when things feel intense. Rest.
Oh, absolutely crucial. The sources really emphasize getting extra sleep.
Why extra?
Because when your system is processing these huge energetic shifts, integrating new awareness, maybe clearing out old emotional stuff or even physical toxins that get stirred up, it requires significantly more downtime. Your brain and nervous system are doing massive integration work during sleep.
So don't fight the tiredness.
Definitely not. Prioritize sleep. It's non-negotiable for stability. And even when you're awake, during meditation, for instance, use those grounding visualizations we talked about. Imagine yourself as a solid, unmoving mountain or a deeply rooted tree.
Yeah.
Reinforce that feeling of stability internally.
Wow. That's a comprehensive toolkit.
Yeah.
It really highlights how much self-awareness and active self-care this whole process can demand.
It really does. And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, grounding is just, it's the foundation, period. We often have this romantic idea of awakening being all about floating up into the cosmos, right? Pure bliss, pure expansion.
Yeah, the upward journey.
But these sources remind us, often using that powerful tree metaphor, a tree can't grow tall and reach for the sky if it doesn't have equally deep and strong roots holding it firm in the earth.
Ah, I like that. The roots are the grounding.
Exactly. Grounding provides those deep roots so that all that amazing expansive growth can actually happen safely without the whole tree just toppling over in the first strong wind.
That makes so much sense. And importantly, because some of these symptoms, the buzzing, the dizziness, the heart stuff, can feel really intense, we should probably mention seeking support, right?
Well,
When does it cross a line?
absolutely critical point. First, just talking about it can help normalize the experience. Find others who get it, maybe a spiritual community, a support group, or a knowledgeable spiritual teacher or guide.
Someone who understands the territory.
Yes. But crucially, and the sources are very clear on this, if the physical symptoms become really severe or debilitating. Think intense heart palpitations, feeling like you might faint, continuous dizziness. You must consult a healthcare professional.
To rule out medical issues.
Absolutely. Get checked out to make sure there isn't an underlying physical condition causing or contributing to the symptoms. Don't just assume it's purely energetic. Safety first.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does this all mean when we wrap this all up?
I think it means that grounding is what allows awakening to become more than just a temporary, maybe chaotic peak experience. It's what lets it become a permanent, integrated, embodied reality.
Living it, not just visiting it.
Exactly. Think of it like a dance. There's the expansion, the flight, reaching out into that vast awareness, and then there's the necessary return cycle, coming back home to the body, grounding, stabilizing, integrating that energy before the next expansion. You need both.
The flight and the return home. I like that. It feels balanced. So grounding isn't about dampening this spiritual experience.
Not at all. It's the fundamental requirement for having that experience in a stable, sustainable way. It stabilizes the energy container, your body, so that expanded awareness can actually unfold within your life with steadiness and grace instead of, chaos and overwhelm.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So as you continue on your own path, maybe think about which of these techniques really resonated. Which ones could you try today or this week? Is it the cold water splash? Eating some root vegetables, or just taking 5 minutes to breathe and imagine those roots growing deep into the earth. Find what helps you cultivate that essential steadiness.
It's all about finding your anchors.
Exactly. Well, thank you for letting us dive deep into this really fascinating, sometimes turbulent, but ultimately very practical material today.